Trying to figure out what a toddler wants, it can feel like you're solving a puzzle in a language you don't speak, right? They've got these huge feelings, huge needs, but their vocabulary, not so huge just yet. So today, we are going to dive deep into the Montessori approach to see how it helps even the littlest kids learn to express themselves, way before they're stringing full sentences together.
Okay, so let's just start with the question that every single parent or caregiver has asked themselves at some point. How in the world do you talk to someone who doesn't have words yet? And look, it's a huge challenge. But the answer isn't about just waiting for them to start talking. It's about building the foundation for it, right here, right now.
And this idea right here, from Montessori head of school Miss Salma, is really the heart of it all. Think about it. The grunts, the pointing, the meltdowns, that is communication. So the goal isn't just to teach them words, it's to understand and respond to the communication that's already happening.
Okay, so where do we even begin with all this? Well, it all starts with their inner world. The very first strategy in the Montessori method is all about building that emotional foundation by learning to speak their language, the language of feelings.
Now, this is where it gets super practical and honestly so powerful. Our first instinct, so often when a toddler is crying, is to say, "Stop crying," or "You're okay." But the Montessori approach suggests this really simple but profound shift. Instead of a command, you just observe. You name the feeling. You can try saying, "You are so upset right now," or "You are frustrated," or even just state the fact, "You really wanted that toy." This doesn't try to stop the feeling. It tells them, "I see you and I understand."
And here's why that tiny little shift in language is such a game changer. First, the toddler feels seen and understood, which is instantly calming. Second, you're giving them a word for this giant, overwhelming feeling inside them. That's the very first step to learning how to manage it themselves. Over time, this builds empathy, and it creates this essential connection. Oh, when I feel this big, scary thing, the word for it is frustrated. That is the absolute bedrock of communication.
All right, let's get into the next big idea here, modeling. I mean, we all know toddlers are like little sponges, right? They are constantly watching us, absorbing every social cue. And that means what we do is so much more powerful than what we say or what we correct.
So if you walk into a Montessori classroom, you'll see teachers are super intentional about this. They physically model what gentle hands look like when they touch things or interact with a child. They use a soft, calm voice even when things get a little chaotic. They'll actually demonstrate, "My turn, now your turn." They're showing, not just telling, what it looks like to be a respectful person in the world. And here's the incredible result of all that. When a child is surrounded day in and day out by gentle hands and soft voices, that just becomes their normal. It becomes their own default behavior. See, it's not about being told, "Do this, don't do that." They're just soaking it all in. The environment itself is the teacher. Okay, so we've talked about validating their feelings, and we've talked about modeling positive behavior. So now for the big question. How do we help them find the actual words? This next part is all about the practical, hands-on tools that build a bridge from what they feel and see to what they can actually say.
This one is a game changer, offering simple two-part choices. Think about it. Asking a toddler a big, open-ended question like, "What do you want for a snack?" can be totally overwhelming. But giving them two clear options, "Do you want apples or bananas?" it's empowering. It gives them a sense of control and a very clear reason to use a word to tell you what they want. It turns a potential tantrum into a moment of successful communication.
Here's another fantastic tool from the Montessori world. They're called grace and courtesy lessons, and basically they're just short, simple, direct lessons on specific social phrases. So instead of just saying, "Be polite," you give them the exact script. You actually model and practice how to say, "May I have a turn?" It's like handing them the keys to unlock social situations respectfully and successfully.
And of course, we can't forget the power of stories and songs. But this is way more than just reading is good for them. They are like these little language-building machines. Every time you read a book or sing a song, you're not just having fun. You're introducing new words, you're improving their memory, and you're teaching them the natural rhythm and flow of language itself. It's so fundamental.
So when you put it all together, what does it all add up to? The emotional validation, the positive role models, the practical tools for finding words. You're creating an entire environment of support. And what happens then? A toddler who feels safe, who feels heard, and who feels understood is a toddler who's going to grow into a confident communicator. It's as simple as that. So I'll leave you with this thought to take with you. This doesn't have to be some massive change overnight. It can be small.
Maybe today it's just naming a feeling instead of saying don't cry. Or maybe it's offering a simple choice between the blue cup and the green cup. Just think, what is one small way you can create a little more space for communication today?